Hello, folks. This is Chris, KY4CKP. Welcome to part two of the Bluetti Charger 1 project. We're going to go over what's in the box and a few things I've added into my kit so far, and just kind of talk about the project as a whole. So we'll see you in the video. All right. Well, here we are, folks, taking our more in-depth look at what comes in the box for the Bluetti Charger 1 DC to DC charger. Now, some of what you see on the table isn't in the box for that unit, but we can see what does come in the box. Take a look here. You get the main unit itself, which has a good heft to it. You can see the Charger 1 input and outputs there labeled, and you can see the bigger input and outputs there from the battery side. Nice heavy duty screw terminals. Has a fan inside, so it has active cooling. We'll let you take a look at what's on the back there. You need to pause the video. So feels good in the hand. Feels like it has good build quality. Metal, doesn't creak or anything. Metal and plastic. Comes with your installation hardware, screws, comes with the Allen wrench. Most things, if they need an Allen wrench at least, they come with it. It may be hard to see, but it's in there. Little bracket, some mounting screws and things there. Now, one of the things that I had seen with some of the other reviews on this unit, and I don't know a whole lot about some of the other units that are somewhat similar to this one out there, but what I liked about the Bluetti one, and I know Bluetti has a pretty good reputation in the industry. I don't happen to own any of their power stations. I've got some other brand power stations and the ones that I've assembled myself. But one of the things I liked about this unit, and here's one of the cables that comes with the unit, right? It has the fairly typical solar environment MC4 connectors. And of course, those are designed and built in such a way you can't really get them wrong unless you just put them on incorrectly. You can see they're designed completely differently, so you can't plug them in the wrong way, right? One side can only go into the corresponding side. But on this kit, and we'll see this on the main cables, notice they've already got ferrules pre-crimped on the ends of these. It's not just loose bare wire, right? Stranded wire. They've got nice clean ferrules crimped on there. Everything is labeled. You can see the labels on there. So they've done the best job they can. Here you can see one of the main wires. It's got the ferrule on there as well, and you can also see the 60 amp circuit breaker that they include with this main power cord. Now, I guess there are versions of the kit that don't come with this main power cable, and it's pretty long. You can see there's quite a bit curled up there with some sheathing to help protect it if you're running it, whether it's through your firewall or under your vehicle or however you decide to install it. This kit came with it all together, and this was $259, I think, on Amazon, something like that. So you can get the unit, I think, without it, and then you could pay for that separately if you've already got cabling, if you've already got what you want to do. I decided to go ahead and get the whole kit again because my thought is that I'm initially at least going to kind of put this together in a case, right? So I've got one of these Harbor Freight Apache cases. I've got several of them, and put it in a case so that I can take it with me and use it anywhere and however I need to, whether I'm in my truck, whether we're in my wife's Forerunner, whether I'm in somebody else's vehicle, potentially, regardless of what power station or multitude of power stations I have, or even if somebody I know has a power station, as long as they have their cable that goes to their unit that uses MC4 connectors, then this will charge that too. I would just have to know what kind of input voltages does their unit need, which is usually on the sticker on the unit somewhere itself. So again, that's one of the things I liked about this unit is the fact that it's custom configurable for any situations or any other power stations that don't happen to be the Bluetti brand. And of course, it works with most of their power stations over the years as well. But that's one thing I really liked about it is they've already done some nice work. Things are well labeled. They've got the ferrules on there. You get this goes on the one side, and then these are coming right from your power source, your battery source, going into the heavy duty side on this. Everything is clean. It's well labeled. The quality looks and feels good. And then again, I've got this, and you can see which one I've got. Try to get it out of the glare there for anybody who's curious. I've got this additional circuit breaker, 60 amp, that I can put in close to the battery, right? So I'll have a cable that I can put that in close to the battery. So I think I showed earlier, I've got these 2-aught cables that I'm going to use for those really heavy duty clamps. Those are not cheap, flimsy clamps. Those are good heavy duty ones. And they have ports where you can screw in. So these were just jumper cables I had purchased for a project several years ago and never used them. But of course, a lot of us never throw anything away. So a lot of times we find a use for it later. But I've also got some raw cable, and it's got clamps and things. So I can custom build anything I might need. I've got a 10-ton hydraulic crimper with different dies and things. So I can get those put on there. And so I'll probably have to make a cable or two with that. But I'm going to put this together, put it in a box, like an Apache box or something similar to that, whether it ends up being the Harbor Freight brand or not. And so similar to this box, I'll just have an easy way to transport this, regardless of which of the power stations. Of course, the box is in the way. Regardless of which power station I may be working with. Again, I've got a couple of these sort of big ones, as I sort of think of them, that I've put together. Again, this one is 100 amp hours. I've got one that's 140 amp hours, but I've got quite a few other power stations that I've purchased over the years, from a quite small one all the way up to about 1,000 watt hours, I guess. And I've got, I think, 1,000, 500, 350, 230 or something. So whatever I think my my power needs are going to be for a camping trip, or again, potentially for a field day event, or whatever it's going to be, I'll grab one or two stations and make sure I've got some portable power for the event, whatever it's going to be. So this is just a close-up look of the unit. Again, it feels good in the hand. It's got nice covers over where you're going to screw in. So if you can see down in there, it comes with the Allen wrench, and you just put the heavy duty cables, right? These heavy duty cables go on this side. They've got those nice ferrules for the screws to clamp down on. And then that smaller cable, which has the opening up here as well, right? These go on this side. Again, it already has those ferrules on there. And then, of course, you can connect that to your power station or your battery. So, again, I'm really interested to see how this is going to work out, because, again, having it in a more portable scenario, which I've seen at least one other person set it up that way on a YouTube video. I don't have the channel name off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can find it quickly. I found it quickly just looking up the Bluetti Charger 1. And it got me thinking, it's like, yeah, that's how I would like to use this, at least initially. That's how I would like to build a kit, set it up, and use it a few times. And then if I eventually decide to mount it in my truck, hey, I can still do that, because nothing I'm looking to do is going to be permanent. It's all going to largely use the kit as is, simply really with the addition of having the clamps with some cables. Basically, that's just an additional cable that will be in my kit. Everything else is pretty much going to stay the way it comes out of the box. And then, of course, the addition of an extra 60 amp circuit breaker. So that's pretty much it here for maybe the second segment, just showing what comes in the box, depending on at least which kit you get. Again, I went ahead and got the one with the main cable, even though I may not use it this way. And in fact, with my raw cabling over here, I might simply make my own set of cables, because I've got my ring terminals and again my crimper and everything. I might just do that and save this in case I ever do mount it in the truck. Because in most cases that I'm thinking of, I probably wouldn't need this much cabling. But we'll just see how it goes as I get further into this project. We'll see what I end up actually needing with potentially trying to use it with the travel trailer. Again, I'm really interested to try that out and see if it's going to be a worthwhile option to have. We know that it works well with various brands and sizes of power stations. And if that's all I can get out of it, hey, that's going to be great, because I do have a number of those that I can work with. But if I can use it in certain scenarios with the travel trailer to augment the solar I've got there, um, and maybe go beyond what this 220 folding panel can do. It's nice that I've got the 570 watts on the roof of the travel trailer. This is another 220 watts. So again, if you don't have the strongest sun, or if you've really drained the battery down, you want to get as much back as possible with whatever daylight you've got. Having what many times they call solar on the side, where again it has that SAE connector that you can just bring it in. Right, that's nice. Right, it's better than nothing. It's nice, and I could potentially even have a bigger than 220-watt portable panel to work with it. But it takes time and space and stuff. But being able to do it proactively, if it's already dusk, if it's already nighttime, and I'd like to get, especially in early spring and fall and stuff, where my wife and I go camping a lot when it's cooler and there's not as many insects to deal with. The days are shorter, right? And what if you want to put in a nice chunk of power into your main house battery to make sure and have it hold you overnight? A couple of hours in the evening or whatever, could maybe do that thing. So that's a part of what I'll be looking at and testing, and hopefully being able to do with the use case with this down the road. So I think that's going to wrap up the second segment here. Again, just showing you everything you get in the box. And you can, with these MC4 connectors being pretty industry standard, and you can easily build these yourself as well. But you can also find all kinds of cables. I didn't build them myself, but these two power cables that I have in my Go box over here, just to use with the power box, those two right there, those are MC4s on the other end. So I can run either of those kinds of radios, with either my kind of what I call the big power boxes that I assembled, right? But you could build any kind of cable you want, and I've got connectors and stuff to where I can build MC4 cables when I want or need something. So if you'd rather put something together yourself, so it's a custom length, has whatever particular set of ends that you want, you can always do that and give yourself the kind of cabling that you need. But a lot of times you can also find what you may need. So it just kind of depends on how hands-on you really want to be with that kind of thing, or how big of a hurry you might be in. So that'll wrap up this part two of looking at the Bluetti Charger 1. And we'll be getting into working with it and hopefully doing some testing soon in a future segment. And then also putting together the organized sort of Go box to hold this stuff so that it will be easy to take with me and convenient when I do want to use it. So this is Chris, KY4CKP for Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. We will see you folks in the next video, 73.